worried, I'll kill you. Okay? I will kill you.
Honestly, between you guys, I find Ty a bit of a mixed bag. See how this movie disastrously bombed in the box office. I mean, it's not a bad movie, but ain't good either. It's just fine. A little bit underrated, but yeah, this movie could also be generic as well. I find the story to be a bit predictable. It's just every single generic story. The animation looks good, but it could be a little bit distraction with 2D and 3D. Characters, I gotta be honest with you, sometimes these characters could be at least fine or unlikable. The nerdy alien guy is played as Sid Sloth, and this thing over here is played as Timon. I don't really care for the main character though. He's just as you could possibly say, a generic a-hole from every single movie that you've seen. But really, some of these characters, yeah, they're just fine. Also, the movie complains to sci-fi adventures where it could be a little bit some source laziness. I will never call Atlantis the Last Airbender overrated again. To say how I rewatched that movie and it turned out pretty underrated. I really surprisingly enjoyed that movie. It was pretty underrated and great. As for this one, yeah, it has its flaws, it has some positive, it's all around just a okay movie. And no wonder why Don didn't want to make a sci-fi movie of it, but he was there to do it. So yeah, this movie is perfectly fine, and I'm never gonna rewatch this movie again. Moving on.
Now be careful you don't fall off that ladder. Not all dogs go to heaven.
I told my mom what was her favorite Don Bluth movie. She said her favorite was All Dogs Go to Heaven. Honestly, I never really recognized this movie at first, but when I did, I was like, not really interesting to me that much. But when I first rewatched it, because I think I was being a little too harsh on this movie, I gave that movie a watch and ended up surprisingly good. I kind of like this movie. But isn't it the best Don Bluth movie I've ever seen? No, I found other 4 Don Bluth movies better than this movie. It's good, but it could have a bit of a mixed flaw. I'm not a big fan of the main character though. He could be a bit of a, how do I pronounce him?
You sound just like Mr. Carface.
I guess he was, but he's not all that bad. I see other characters who have the worst character arc on, like Charlie. Like the Monkey King? Ugh. Honestly, I remember watching that movie. I watched that movie on Netflix and it was awful. It's unwatchable. Also, I found the villain forgettable to me. And there were some scary parts that I kind of skipped out. So yeah, this movie has some bad stuff, but this movie ain't terrible. There were at least good things about it. Like, Emery was a pretty nice character. Her song was very sad to listen to, but it's clearly the best one. Some other scenes that I could find very fun and very enjoyable. And the heaven scene was pretty good. I surprisingly enjoy All Dogs Go to Heaven. It's a pretty good movie. Even though with all the flaws and stuff, you can't keep a good dog down. Also, this movie managed to have a sequel, which I haven't really seen before. But I heard some people said that the sequel was terrible, so I'm not watching this. Anastasia is the hidden gem of all the Don Bluth movies. I watched that movie in Disney Plus and it was spectacular. I heard that this movie was made by Fox Animation, which is a studio that's honestly kind of forgettable, and it kind of got canceled out, and the director started to move on with Blue Sky Studio, so yeah. Anyways, with Anastasia, this movie is just spectacular. With the beautiful animation, the greatest of songs, the backgrounds, it's just literally just amazing. I gotta admit, it's not a perfect movie. I mean, the live review was honestly pretty bad. I mean, seriously.
You really are Anastasia. You are.
Stop it! From the very beginning, you lied! And I not only believed you, I actually...
Anya, please. When you spoke of the hidden door of the wall opening and the little boy, listen to me. That was...
No! I don't want to hear about anything that I said or remembered. You just leave me alone!
That's just my only nitpick. The rest are just fantastic. And the songs, they are just better and better. Even though this movie just want to be Disney, it's just very good to listen to. Like, all the songs were pretty good. Even the weaker songs are also good. To Journey to the Past, Once Upon December, and easily the best song in this movie is. I'm not joking. If this movie wasn't forgettable, I would watch this movie all over again. It's just spectacular, and I will especially watch that movie over time and age. And to be honest, to revisit to this movie, even though I haven't watched this movie in about a year.
If you give up, you will never find your family. So,
Never say never.
We made it to the top 3, and here are the movies that made Don Bluth a legend. But American Tail is kind of the weakest one. Don't get me wrong, it's still a good movie. It's not level up to the other two. I have to admit, some of the other characters that Favreau met are pretty forgettable. Except for Tiger and Tony, those two were pretty fine. And I gotta admit, the orphanage was a little bit mean-spirited and all that stuff. But despite all that, this movie is still pretty good. It tells a story about a little boy, or in this case a little mouse, Fievel, who's trying to find their family because he got separated by them. And it was a very long journey for him to go to, and yet its story just fits well. And some of their songs were very tear-raking. I mean, just this song that I'm putting up on the video, but some of the other songs, like Never Say Never, and I don't know, the other song where Fievel and Tiger were singing, it was fine. Just some of the other songs that were pretty good. And the ending was just gorgeous. I mean, every time when you look back to the ending, it makes you want to cry. So yeah, American Tail is a pretty good movie. It's fun, it's tear-raking, and you know it.
What the hell is that? Is that a rat?
The Secret of NIMH is a work of art. I guess why this is what people call their favorite Don Bluth movie of all time. And I know that's why. This movie is a little bit dark. Okay, I gotta admit, a way darker movie. I mean, have you seen the climax? That was amazing. But the more entertaining about this movie was Mrs. Brisby. She is a fantastic character. Probably the best Don Bluth, if you ask me. Or best Don Bluth character. She risked her whole life by getting the medicine to help her sick son to feel better. That is a fantastic character. And this movie is not afraid or not ashamed to get dark. This movie is just very dark. And when I mentioned the climax, see, this is not for kids. Oh no. This is very dark. This movie is also a warm movie to watch. And really, it's easily a masterpiece. It's the most underrated Don Bluth movie I've ever seen. With some great story and beautiful animation, nice warming characters, well, except for one. And yeah, this movie has nothing that could get this movie down. The only nitpick I have, to be honest, is only just one, and it's easily Jeremy. I mean, he's just a useless crow. All he does is talk, wank, and just be annoying, and not being this useful for Mrs. Brisby's adventure. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. Some of the other scenes were also very dark as well, a little too dark, which is probably explains why rats are the most verminous things of all.
Rats are actually the cleanest of all the rodents, so thank you for the compliment.
But what else can I say? This movie is really nostalgia. It's an amazing, brilliant masterpiece, and it's probably the reason why this is Don Bluth's favorite movie that he ever made. This movie is a greatness. But I'm not Don Bluth, am I? This is a no surprise there. My favorite Don Bluth movie of all time is The Land Before Time. This movie is the most magnificent, the exceptional, and an outstanding masterpiece I ever seen. I remember watching this movie as a kid, or I at least remember watching the sequels. I don't know. And when I watched it, this movie was just beautiful. It's just a magnificent dinosaur movie I ever seen. So yeah. And also, I remember watching this movie on Netflix, and when I rewatch it back again, I cannot stop watching this movie. It's too fantastic. Even though the runtime was a bit short, it's probably one of the shortest Don Bluth movies, but I don't care. Unlike The Good Dinosaur, at least this movie is not boring. I watch this movie and I never get bored on watching this movie. To the spectacular story, gorgeous animation, and some of the beloved characters, like Dougie, the most hybrid swimmer, and then there's Petrie, the flightless flyer, and Spike just being Spike. And Sarah, honestly, she's kind of my least favorite from the herd, but I can probably see why. Because of her racism. This probably belongs into her father when he said, "Three hearts never play with long necks." So Sarah just did the same thing. But she tried to have this character arc about being into a herd, and that's why it makes sense. And Littlefoot. Oh, Littlefoot. He's without doubt the best Don Bluth character I've ever seen. To see how he lost his mother after that battle between Sharktooth, it's just heart-wrenching. I mean, seriously, every time I keep on seeing the scene where Littlefoot's mother died, it's very tear-wrenching. It makes me want to cry. And to be honest, the battle with Sharktooth, wow, it can't be possibly amazing I've ever seen. It was amazing. The battle scene was spectacular. It was the greatest battle, and when those kids managed to defeat Sharktooth, wow, that's the way how to manage to kill the predator. And so yeah, and the quick journey when they had to go to the Great Valley, honestly, I never get bored of that. It makes it more creative, and everything else seems very good. There's nothing to say about The Land Before Time. It is without doubt the greatest Don Bluth I ever seen. From the visuals to the likely of the great journey they had to face to the great and likable characters. This movie is just the greatest Don Bluth movie I ever seen. This movie is on par as my top 20 favorite movies of all time. And no stupid, dumb, straight-to-DVD sequels are never gonna make me stop liking this movie. Even though some of their sequels were kind of fine, but after that they were kind of let downhill. But the first movie is spectacular. And this is why The Land Before Time is my favorite Don Bluth movie of all time. Wow, that was a long list to go to, but yet I managed to pull it off. So what you think about my Don Bluth list? Tell me what you think about it in the comments. Did you like it? Do you find it fine? Or did you just say, eh? Well, like and comment, share, subscribe. Until next time, see you later.